ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलनः वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ कारिका सेकेंड। दक्षिणाक्षिमुखे विश्वः मनस्यन्तस्तु तैजसः आकाशे चरति प्राज्ञः त्रिधा देहे व्यवस्थितः। भाष्यम् पेज 33 सेकेंड पैराग्राफ। यद्यपि प्राण अभिमाने सति व्याकृतता एव प्राणस्य तथापि पिंड परिच्छिन्न विशेष अभिमान निरोधः प्राणे भवति इति अव्याकृतः एव प्राणः सुषुप्ते परिच्छिन्न अभिमानवताम्। यथा प्राणलये परिच्छिन्न अभिमानिनां प्राणः अव्याकृतः तथा प्राणाभिमानिनः अपि अविशेषापत्तौ अव्याकृतता समाना प्रसवबीजात्मकं च तद् अध्यक्षश्च एकः अव्याकृतावस्थः परिच्छिन्न अभिमानिनाम् अध्यक्षाणां च तेन एकत्वम् इति पूर्वोक्तं विशेषणम् एकीभूतः प्रज्ञानगणः इत्यादि उपपन्नम् तस्मिन् उक्तहेतु सत्वाच्च और उक्तहेतु त्वाच्च। So what is going on? Śaṅkarācārya ji has initiated some discussion. His ultimate aim is certain words are used which can create a conflict in the mind. This is how the tradition is. Word is one, used in a different context differently. The meaning of the word, same word, will be different in a different context. So appropriate meaning should be taken of the same word depending upon the context. That is where the communication is. That's called tradition. The difference between a professor of Vedanta and a teacher of a traditional teacher of a Vedanta, you can see even through the Bhashya. How the Śaṅkarācārya ji, who is a traditional teacher, is able to communicate, imparting you the vision of the Shastra, even though certain words which are used in a one Upanishad are used differently. Same word used differently. Differently means with a different meaning because the context is different. That's what it is. And that's how he is initiating a technical discussion. So, right, he is commenting on second Karika, we know very well, of this first chapter, second Karika of the Gauḍapāda ji. And he is, where Karikākara said, Viśva Taijasa prājña can be recognized in a Jagrata avastha. itself. See, look at that, the oneness of the vision. Even, even at an experiential level looks different. But still there is a one thing. That is how Advitiyatvam or wholeness is established. The self, the individual is experientially different. In a waking state, he is a waker, definitely experiencing waking world. Then in a dream world, definitely he is no more a waker. The entire experience goes away. The very experiencer of the waking world goes away entirely. And naturally, the same self is a dreamer now and having an experience of a dream world. He is quite distinct from the waker. Waker experiences waking world. For that, definitely he is using sense organs and approaching. He is identifying with that and experiencing the external world. Whereas the dreamer, he no more uses this sense organs, and yet he experiences the external world. External, not this external world, some other external world. So, but that is different, dreamer and the dream world. It's all thought world. Therefore, waker is not dreamer. Definitely not. If waker is a dreamer, the dreamer also should experience the same waking world. No. It's no there, not there. Then dreamer also resolves, and now the self becomes a deep sleeper. Doesn't experience anything in particular. Not waking, not thought world, just experiencing. He has an experience of no particular experience. He has an experience of no particular experience. That's how it is. He's an experiencer. Deep sleep state is a state of experience. Therefore, the deep sleeper is an experiencer. And that experiencer is having no particular experience. Experiencing ignorance, etc. Or he can say, I have no experience of anything particular. I did not know anything. Anyway, so I know that I did not know anything. Anyway, so that is a deep sleeper. So very distinct. But look at the Gauḍapāda Acharya, he says in a waking state itself, well, this, you yourself, the waker, can become all the three. Then, well, you cannot say they are really Viśva, Taijasa, prājña are distinct from each other. No. Ultimately wants to convey that Viśva, Taijasa, prājña, even in three different states, is one self, the Turīya alone. That's the criteria. But he says here, in a Jagrata Avastha itself, you are able to experience. Therefore, you will say, well, I only, I had an experience of a mental silence where there is even not any thought. Not even a I thought, not even a this thought. Now, I don't have any I cognition, I don't have even a this cognition. Totally thoughtless state. Mental silence. It's a deep sleep state. In a waking, it becomes a deep sleep state where subject-object resolves. So this is there. You can say, I had experienced that. Well, so you were prājña. Then you say, well, I am right now seeing you, Swami. Therefore, I am a waker. Definitely, through my eyes, I am experiencing you who is external. And therefore, I am a waker now. Okay. Then you close the eyes. No more contacting external world through the senses. And still you see my image in your mind. You see me in form of a thought. So then definitely you are a dreamer. Right? And therefore, you alone, you can very well say, I had experience of a mental silence. I was a prājña. I am a waker, right? Because seeing you, who is external waker, and as I close my eyes and everything, well, I only become a Taijasa. Therefore, all the three are I alone, you can say, in a waking state. And that is what it means. I alone became a waker, I alone became a Taijasa, I alone became a prājña. So, I must be distinct from all the three. If all the three, right, simultaneously, not simultaneously, sequentially I became all the three, and therefore I alone appear as waker, etc., etc. So I am a Turīya. That kind of a thing you can have even in a waking state. That's what it conveyed. That is conveyed in a second Karika. Anyway, and then he showed the place also, Dakshinakshi Mukhe Viśva, etc., etc. It's in the second Karika that we discussed. Anyway, then Śaṅkarācārya ji enters here while commenting on this second Karika, enters into a certain discussion which is called a mīmāṁsā. And here he says that one who had that experience of a silent mind, right, silent mind, no thought, thoughtless state, and I told you, you can get that thoughtless state momentarily through various techniques. Those techniques also, briefly I told you also. Anyway, so this prājña, so nobody can say that Swamiji, I can never experience thoughtless state in a waking. You can experience. Yeah, you have to employ certain technique. Not for a long time. For us, let's say, for a yogi it could be nirvikalpak samadhi for a long time, but for us, temporarily, you become a prājña. Anyway, so Śaṅkarācārya ji make a statement that in that silent mind, one remains, which is as a prājña, means who experiences the silent, mental silence, etc. He is identical with Ishvara. Prājña is at the level of vyashti, is at the level of samashti, is a Ishvara at the level of samashti. So without any difference. Avisheshena. Avisheshena means there are no distinction between prājña and Ishvara. Or there is no distinction between one prājña and another prājña, etc. And you can go even to the deep sleep state and you can say the same thing also. Or in a waking state, you experience a mental silence and you are prājña at that time. You are not different from basically another individuals. So the differentiation goes away totally. Anyway, for a differentiation, I thought should be there. I, that gives that I is a sense of individuality. That if that I itself is not there, that sense of individuality is not there, then definitely there is Ishvara. A sense of individuality makes you, will tell you that you are a jiva and Ishvara is different from, etc. That kind of a thing can arise. I'll be talking about this Jiva Ishvara Aikyam, etc. a little later, which is discussed elsewhere. Because this is the only thing which is not, we are not able to swallow. And what Mandukya says, we are not able to swallow when it says the Prathama Pāda is Viśva and Virāṭ. Both are I, the Atma. You can say I am Viśva, which is in content, in a reality, Atma, that I am able to understand. But you say, that is in the Prathama Pāda, the first quarter of I, the self, is Viśva and Virāṭ both? Viśva you should say, not Virāṭ. Then we'll discuss also further. It is coming little bit and I would give you some reference there. Anyway, so one sleeper and another sleeper difference also will not be experienced in deep sleep, and one I am a vyashti and the Ishvara samashti, that difference also goes away. So, and this much is enough. But Śaṅkarācārya ji played a little mischief kind of thing. So he introduces a word for a prājña. He did not use word prājña, but he said prāṇa. That creates a purposely he wanted to discuss something. So And that now then if you use prana, then you have to now say the prana, well, how it can be prājña. That is what it is. While discussing prājña, the third pada, well, right? So if you say it is prāṇa, instead of a prājña word, well, you say prāṇa, then you have to explain why this prājña is called prāṇa. And so Purvapakshi raised a question. So he created Purvapaksha, that how can prāṇa and prājña be equated? Because, and the thing is, in a deep sleep state, prāṇa is a vyakrita, naturally. If prāṇa resolves, becomes unmanifest, then how can you are alive? When if you are alive, then definitely prāṇa is a vyakrita. Prāṇa is there, very much there. Manifest prāṇa. And all prāṇas function also are going on. Respiration and other things are circulation and everything is going on. You have eaten food, digestion is going on. Even you are sleeping. But the svagata bheda, the differentiation at the level of the prāṇamaya, one prāṇamaya goes on. So this, let me clarify these three things. There is a prāṇa, there is a prāṇamaya, and prāṇamaya kośa. Three things are there. All the three have a different meaning. Prāṇa basically means just a life. Life. So because of that you are alive. That's there. That's called prāṇa. Now when you say prāṇamaya, means modified prāṇa. And that means modified prāṇa means what? Pancha prāṇa. Same prāṇa in the form of panchavrittis. It's air actually. The air which enters here undergoes modification in terms of respiration, all physiological functions, in terms of respiration, digestion, etc. etc. So when a digestion happens, therefore the prāṇa which has undergone modification and helps in a digestion process, that prāṇa is called samana. Therefore, prāṇa undergoes modification in terms of prāṇa, apāna, vyāna, udāna, samana. That is called prāṇamaya. Modified prāṇa, prāṇamaya. And prāṇamaya kośa means the same prāṇamaya becomes a cause for a mistake. And that is, what is a mistake? I am breathing. Wow. There is a breathing. Okay. Respiration. No. I am breathing. I am having problem in digestion, etc. I have a problem in circulation of the blood, something like that. So, I am burping. Or, therefore, now that prāṇamaya is a cause for a mistake. Actual you, the I, is covered. I, the cit-ānanda, is as covered as though, and that I is taken as a prāṇamaya. So the prāṇamaya being there becomes a cause for mistake, mistaking as a self. So kośa is a cause of a mistake. You take yourself as a prāṇamaya, then the prāṇamaya becomes a kośa. That's it. So prāṇa, prāṇamaya, prāṇamaya, kośa. These three are quite different things. Nava prāṇa saññau nava pañcavayu. Very beautifully said in Nirvana Shatkam, nava prāṇa saññah. I am not a prāṇa. I'm not a thing which is named as prāṇa. And then Śaṅkarācārya ji says nava pañcavayu. So the first is prāṇa. Then, well, it includes Swamiji pancha prāṇa. No. Śaṅkarācārya ji mentions separately. Therefore, nava prāṇa saññau, there we have to take life, being alive. And nava pancha prāṇa, that is prāṇamaya. That is pranamaya. That has to be taken like that. And it has been negated because there is a mistake. If there is an error, you have to negate. Otherwise, why should you negate? And therefore, the cit-ānanda is taken as a prāṇamaya. Therefore, that prāṇamaya becomes a kośa. Anyway. So here it says, well, this prāṇa, why do you say this prājña is a prāṇa? Instead of word prājña, you use word prāṇa. For what? So then we say, well, prāṇa is basically, and it is the Purupaksha is very genuine, because the prāṇa is basically a manifest prāṇa, which is having this fivefold physiological functions. Differentiation is there, very much there. And one prāṇamaya is different from another prāṇamaya, even in a deep sleep state. Yeah? Because your physiological functions in this body is quite distinct from the physiological functions in another body, in a deep sleep state. That we know, one has a respiratory problem, another doesn't have a respiratory problem. One may have a digestion problem, another may not have a digestion problem. Whatever he has eaten before going to bed, well, gets digested within few hours. And other person, even when he wakes up, well, he is not ready to break the fast. So therefore, this is what is happening. And therefore, all this, digestions and everything, constipation, etc. One has to get up early, many times during a deep sleep state, just gets up and goes to restroom, etc. The other person has no issue. So all that shows this prāṇamaya is different from that prāṇamaya in a deep sleep state also. Means differentiation is there. And therefore, definitely is a vyakrita prāṇa. Prāṇa shabda, which you use for prājña, but you should not use because the prāṇa is a vyakruta in a deep sleep state. Different. Whereas prājña means what? Avyakrita. And therefore you should not use this. Prāṇa cannot be equated with the prājña. The vyakruta prāṇa, the differentiated prāṇa, manifest prāṇa, cannot be equated with unmanifest self, unmanifest jiva. That's what it is. Then Bhāṣya said, well, that is true that there is a sajati bheda and swagata bheda. Sajati bheda means another prāṇamaya, this prāṇamaya. Swagata bheda means within one prāṇamaya also fivefold functions, swagata bheda. All these bhedas are still there. Therefore it is vyakruta only. But for the sleeper, well, he is not aware of that. Sleeper, so he is not aware. So prāṇa functions going on involuntarily. But I am an individual sleeper, I am alive, etc., etc. So I am breathing. That kind of an identification with the prāṇa or prāṇamaya is not there. And therefore, even though prāṇa is a vyakruta, what Bhāṣyam we read, this is the meaning of that. So even though the prāṇa is a vyakruta, doing its function and differentiation are also there, but still from the standpoint of a sleeper who has not identified with that prāṇa or prāṇamaya, definitely from the sleeper standpoint it is a avyakruta. He is not aware of. It is involuntarily going on. So it is for a sleeper, it is as though resolved, as though avyakruta, not factually. Experientially, prāṇa can be taken as a avyakruta. Whose experience? Deep sleeper's experience. Yeah. So then he concluded that look at that, which has made even the other philosophers create a very grave mistake. Of course, the prāṇas are vyakruta, right? Swagata Veda, Sajati Veda are there. And but since the abhimana goes away, and therefore definitely for the sleeper it is avyakruta, as though Bhāṣya says parichinna abhimaninam adhyakshanam cha. tena ekatvam. So not only pranas basically are as though resolved for this deep sleeper, it is as though vyakruta for this person, prāṇa abhimani chaitanyani. So prāṇa parichinna parichinna means this prāṇamaya. Parichinna abhimaninam adhyakshanam. The jiva, well, who has an identification in a waking state with this parichinna prāṇamaya, that abhimani chaitanya also resolves. So in a waking state, well, I am very much aware that I am breathing, you are breathing, etc. I mean, it's all differentiation. Prāṇamaya is distinct, that's fine. Prāṇamaya abhimani chaitanyam also is different. Jivas are also different in a waking state. That also is very clear. In a waking state, in a deep sleep state, the distinction between one pranamaya and other pranamaya is, even though it is there, I don't experience it, right? I don't experience it. And not only that, so the distinction between pranamaya goes away. The abhimani chaitanya, the jiva who has abhimana, that's how the root jiva has been explained as a prāṇadhārane. Prāṇadhārane means the one who has an identification with the prana is called jiva. So therefore pranamaya is as though resolved. Then this jiva who has abhimana with the pranamaya also resolves. That's what he says. So parichinna abhimaninam adhyakshanam. So adhyaksha, Swamiji, adhyaksha should be chaitanya, then there cannot be plural. So it's a abhimani, parichinna, one. So the chaitanyam which is as a abhimana with the parichinna, with a individual pranamaya, one pranamaya, well, which is called jiva, also resolves. Where? In a deep sleep state. So as long as identification with the prana is there, I am called jiva. So abhimani jiva, all these jivas also merge in a deep sleep state. So not actually, but experientially all these jivas also merge. Means you don't experience I am an individual, I am breathing, I am this, etc. So pranamayas are vyakruta. That is there in a deep sleep state, definitely. They are distinct. But abhimani, that pranamaya becomes one. In a deep sleep state, you don't experience the differences. Svagata Veda also you don't experience. And even you don't experience one pranamaya, other pranamaya, vyashti pranamaya, samashti pranamaya. You don't experience that. Even though there is a Veda, you don't experience. Therefore, well, that is there. At the same time, the abhimana with one pranamaya also goes away. And therefore, basically the jiva also resolves in a deep sleep state. And therefore he says, tena ekatvam. So that vyashti, abhimana with the parichinna has gone away, parichinna pranamaya has gone away. Therefore, tena ekatvam. Tena ekatvam is what? Ishvarena ekatvam. Because abhimani with one parichinna pranamaya, the abhimana goes away, the sense of individuality goes away, jiva also resolves in a deep sleep state. Therefore, tena ekatvam, Ishvarena ekatvam. That is how in the Mandukya Upaniṣad mantra we have already seen in the 5th and 6th, yat sushupta sthanaha eki bhutaha prajñana ghanaha, etc. So the word eki bhutaha means where there is no experience of a duality. I am jiva, I am an individual, you are a different individual. That can happen with the abhimana, with a vyashti prana, etc. We are talking about deep sleep state. And our issue here is why you use word prana for the prājña. Therefore, I am not going to identification with the gross body, etc. We are just confining ourselves to prana right now. So there is a further abhimana with the sukshma sharira and sthula sharira that will be there. But we are not discussing. We are discussing that in a deep sleep state, you don't experience the differences between one pranamaya and other pranamaya also. And not only that, the abhimana with that vyashti pranamaya also goes away. Therefore, the jiva also resolves. When there is an identification with one pranamaya, you are called jiva, but that also resolves. Therefore, all the jivas resolve. The parichinnatvam at the level of a chaitanyam, which you are experiencing in other states, also resolves. Therefore, tena ekatvam, ishvarena ekatvam, and that is being discussed in the fifth mantra of the Mandukya and sixth mantra that has been where the prājña and Ishvara has been equated. You know very well. So, and therefore Bhashyakara says purvoktam. Purvoktam. Purvoktam means panchamantra. The sixth mantra. I'm sorry. So, in the sixth mantra itself, these visheshanas have been used for the prājña is eki bhutaha prajñānagana, etc. So that we have already seen it. So tasmin ukta hetutvacha. Tasmin, with reference to this, tasmin vishay, with reference to this vyashti, samashti, aikyam in the deep sleep state, right? Vyashti, samashti, aikyam, prājña and Ishvara has become one. Well, so this with reference to that, ukta hetutvacha. We have already ukta hetu. Not that Bhashyakara doesn't say that with this vyashti, samashti, aikyam in a deep sleep state, prājña, Ishvara, aikyam in a deep sleep state, we are giving you reason. No, he says ukta hetutva. We have already given you the reason before. And therefore, he says naisha dosha. Therefore, there is no dosha. When I say prāṇa is prājña, there is no dosha. The prāṇa cannot be, the vyakrita prāṇa cannot, the word prāṇa which is vyakrita in a deep sleep state cannot be used for avyakrita prājña. I know that, but I am using it, there is no defect in that. Because you don't experience the differences between different functions of the one prāṇamaya. You don't experience it, that's called Gauḍapāda. You don't experience the differences of a one prāṇamaya and other prāṇamaya, vyashti veda. You don't experience the differences between vyashti prāṇa, samashti prāṇa. All these differences are resolved for you. And there, not only that, the abhimana with the identification with one prāṇamaya or panchavrittis of the prāṇamaya, well, also resolves. Therefore, basically the jiva also resolves. When identification with this parichinna prāṇa will be there, the chaitanya will be appearing, parichinna chaitanyam, that is jiva, that also goes away. And therefore, tena ekatvam, therefore ishvarane ekatvam, and that for that we given you the reason. So, vyakrita prāṇa, the differentiated prāṇa, well, since you don't experience in deep sleep state, I am calling it avyakrita prājña. That is equated with Ishvara. Therefore, well, because parichinna abhimana also goes away for the chaitanya. So therefore, basically it is, I can definitely use word prāṇa for the prājña. That's what he said. Naisha dosha. So actually, vyashti, samashti, bheda, literally speaking, in a prathama pāda, Viśva Virāṭ, dvitiya pāda, Taijasa, Hiranyagarbha, etc., there it is very difficult to accept. Viśva is the one who is having who says, I am alpajna, alpashakti, right? And Virāṭ is one. Virāṭ means who is in all the forms and who is sarvajna, sarvashakti, you can say. So Virāṭ means who identifies with the entire world, all the names and forms. Viśva is one who has identified with this one name form. And Viśva and Virāṭ both are equated in a prathama pāda of the Atma. The Atma, the first quarter of Atma is where the manifestation of this Atma is Viśva and Virāṭ. But you should remember this thing, it's all due to upādhi ultimately. And that upādhi, you see what happens is, let me talk to you this, that how this Viśva, the vyashti, is really not there. It is purely ignorance. There is no vyashti. If you, Forget about cit-ānanda and all, Brahman, etc., Atma, forget about it. Let's look at the samashti, the entirety. So what happens is the consciousness along with unmanifest names and forms, which is called Maya, Avyaktam, Avyakrutam, or you say Shakti, that manifest. That manifest means what? This unmanifest names and forms is what? It is just knowledge of Ishvara. Ishvara's knowledge only, this Brahman, along with this Upādhi called all knowledge, which is unmanifest names and forms, alone manifest. How can you say, Swamiji, it is all knowledge of Ishvara, all names and forms? It is your own experience also. It's your own experience. When you create a dream, you are a waker consciousness. You create a dream, means you are a nimitta karana for the dream world, and your knowledge, your impression, right, of various experiences, which is stored in the form of impressions, vasana, which is the knowledge, only manifest. Therefore, mountain. How can you know there is something called mountain? I know, you know. Therefore, you say mountain, and mountain manifest. And tree manifest. Ocean manifest. If you have a knowledge in a waking state of other galaxies and other things, while in a dream, which is now there in the seed form, in the form of a knowledge, vasana, alone manifests there. What is the material or in the dream other than your knowledge? All names and forms in a dream, including dream space, dream time, dream people, dream objects, right? Sentient, insentient, inner, outer world in dream. Please understand me. Inner, outer world, even the dreamer's thought. Like, let's say, just I gave example in the morning itself. Like, in a dream, you are seeing that you are climbing a mountain. Okay, you are climbing a mountain. Mountain is you naturally, and the climber is you. The body is you. The rucksack, etc. Which is there on your shoulder, etc., or on your back is you. Everything is you. And then breathing. Oh, he was breathing fast while climbing. Is you. And suppose while climbing, a thought comes to that climber. Oh, it's too much. I have a water. Let me drink water. That thought is what? You. That thought is you. The water is you. The water bottle is you. So, in a dream world, there is a thought of the dreamer, inner world, right? That is also you. The external world in a dream, mountain and these and other things and bottle and all that is also you. The inner world, outer world, everything is just you. Nothing other than that. You means what, Swamiji? The waker consciousness, or waker, let's say, who has become unmanifest, deep sleep state. Everything resolves. The time, space of the waking world and the entire waking world has become unmanifest. And from that unmanifest state, you are there with unmanifest everything, unmanifest names and forms. You are Ishvara and alone appear in the form of dream. Nothing else. So the abhinna nimitta upadana karanam of the entire dream world is you. You are the maker. You are all the names and forms. Means your knowledge, your impressions, vasanas are only the names and forms in dream. So whatever is in the dream, inner world means in the form of thoughts of the dreamer who is experiencing dream world, he has various thoughts. All the thoughts are also you. The body is you. His senses are also you. Please understand. His senses are, his prāṇa also is you. where is individual? Where is individual who is away from that dream world? Please tell me. Show me a vyashti really there. What is a vyashti there which is away from the samashti? Only the ignorance on the part of a dream person that I am this and what I am experiencing, etc., is different from me. That is making a difference between vyashti and samashti. The reality is the entire dream world, including one's body, mind, sense complex, also is you, the Ishvara. Could you follow what I am saying? Are you able to understand what I am saying? So if a dream person, you are seeing some person, sentient person, who has this idea due to ignorance, right? Ignorance of oneself. In fact, he is that waker in content. I mean, you only are the content of everything, all the forms. And he should know that I am really, by truth, by nature, by Atma, I am this just waker. Means Ishvara. No. I am this. He says in a dream, I am this. All is different. Vyashti samashti veda is due to ajnanam on the part of the vyashti, of the individual, that really speaking all the names and forms ultimately are in reality it is one thing, and that is this waker, the Ishvara. Is Ishvara. I am also, if he knows that I am really Ishvara, the waker I am Ishvara, that is the self, because the body is also Ishvara or knowledge ultimately, but knowledge also resides in what? The waker, which is non-separate from what? Waker. Along with the knowledge I am Ishvara, please understand. Otherwise it is just a waker consciousness. Existence of every form is non-separate from the waker consciousness. All the forms are revealed by the waker consciousness. Could you follow what I am saying? You say the form is any name form. Let's say one form, one body. That body is revealed, body is objectified by that waker consciousness. And therefore the content of a individual body is this astibhati, which is waker consciousness. But you add a knowledge also in that, upādhi, right, which was unmanifest before, maya. You add it. Now you become a Ishvara. Along with the knowledge, right, your knowledge which is non-separate from you, along with that upādhi, which was unmanifest before, which has manifested into this all entire dream world, you add it, then you, the waker consciousness, becomes the cause of the entire world. Literally, it is just asti bhati. All forms are you alone, waker consciousness alone. Right? There is nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. But an individual in a dream has this idea. I am not Ishvara. Means I am not waker consciousness. But I am this. When he says I am this, a sense of individuality is there. In fact, all that is there in dream along with your body, mind, sense complex is nothing but that waker alone, Ishvara alone. But due to ajnanam of that is a upādhi for this same waker consciousness. The upādhi, vyashti upādhi, karana sharira, ajnanam. Well, he identifies with this, which really belongs to samashti, which is nothing but a knowledge of that waker alone. Well, you say, I am different from samashti. All that is there is samashti. Please understand, all that is there is knowledge of Ishvara. If you add forms, It is nothing but knowledge of Ishvara. So therefore, you carve out yourself from that. It's claiming what belongs to Ishvara. You claim of yourself. That's called ego. Ego is a claimer. Whatever happens, it claims the ownership. Yeah. That ego is born of ignorance of oneself. That ego is called a sense of individuality. Yeah. Identifying with one mind which is really Ishvara. Ishvara's knowledge. Every thought, all your memory, all your perception thought, all your emotions, recollection, or a capability of analyzing, everything, every thought is Ishvara. Please understand. Every thought is Ishvara. I can say every thought is Vaker consciousness also. No, but I would like to add that knowledge. Okay, that's Ishvara. So every thought is the Vaker's knowledge. Every mind is a Vaker's knowledge, dream. Please understand. This you have to understand. Otherwise, Śaṅkarācārya ji would have called that I am cit-ānanda. No. Shivoham. I am Shiva. I am the cause of the world. Hey, don't say I am Shiva. I am not Ishvara. I am cit-ānanda, that is fine. No. Aham cit-ānanda, aham Shiva. Right? Aham Shiva. Suppose that person in a dream world says that I am a Vaker consciousness, then he could very well say that I am the cause of all this is there. All the forms are what? Essentially Vaker consciousness. Right? He can say I alone is in the form of all these forms. Yeah. I am Shiva. I am the cause of the world. I am Astibhati. I am the Vivarta Karana. Karana, really speaking, the definition of the Karana is because of which the entire Karya Jagat exists. Karana alone lends an existence to the Karya. That's the real Karana. If you add the knowledge, then he is called all knowledge. And you identified with a one mind due to ignorance and becomes ego. That's what it is. You are also Vaker consciousness, but identified with one upādhi. Due to one karana sharira, which is anadi, then you identified with one mind and you say, I am small knowledge. Small knowledge, small power, cit-ānanda. All knowledge, all power, cit-ānanda. Small knowledge, small power, cit-ānanda. Well, praise, all knowledge, all power, cit-ānanda. That's how it is. Could you follow? Small knowledge, small power, cit-ānanda. If you again want to go back to dream, small knowledge, small power, cit-ānanda means here Vaker consciousness. Small knowledge, small power, Vaker consciousness worships all knowledge, all power, cit-ānanda. Vaker consciousness. It's what it is. Really, you are Shiva. You are Shiva. You are the cause of the world. From the standpoint of you are cit-ānanda, and so-called all knowledge also is cit-ānanda. Ishvara also is cit-ānanda. So from the standpoint of a cit-ānanda, there is no difference. You can tell, I have given you the example. The wave, well, is water, ocean also is water. From the standpoint of water, you can say, I am ocean. But no, I am wave. Okay. If you say I am wave, identification with one name and form, then you are part of the ocean. Another, a bigger name form. Yeah, you can say you are part of it. And as a wave, well, I worship the ocean. Really speaking, wave is all that is there in the wave is just water. All that is there in ocean is just water. Therefore, from the standpoint of the content, the truth, the self, you and Shiva are one alone. Right? He is also Chit-ānanda. But add Upādhi. All names and forms, unmanifest. That's Upādhi, the Maya. Add into that. Oh, then he is all knowledge now. Same Chit-ānanda with unmanifest names and forms. Maya. You call Ishvara. Then, well, you also say, same Chit-ānanda with one Karana Sharira, one subtle body, etc. Sense of individuality. Now, with a small, that Upādhi, you are a Jiva. Both Upādhis are beginningless. Somebody asked this question that how, Swamiji, everything is samashti, everything is Ishvara. Then how can there is a vyashti? The vyashti bhava came when? Ajnanam came. When did Ajnanam starts? Hey, what is that? Is a beginningless. Means it is existing since beginningless time, you mean? No, sir. It is not the meaning of word beginningless. It is there. Please understand. See this. What a mistake we do. It is there since beginningless time. Means it has an independent existence. It is existence. If anything which has an existence, then it should have a beginning. Anything which has an existence, you say there is a pen. Okay, good. Then definitely asti, other vikaras are also there. Jayate. Then vinashyati also. Vinashyati also. So if you say ignorance is, means there is ignorance, then it should have a beginning. Then what is beginningless? Which is really not there to begin with. That's a beginningless. Which is not there to begin with. Please understand this. Sarpa is a beginningless. Honestly, it is beginningless. Sarpa on the rope, it is beginningless. Why it is beginningless? As you see snake. Not that you see first rope and slowly now you are seeing it as a snake. No. As you see, you are seeing as a snake only. Snake is beginningless. It has not begun. So I can say snake is beginningless means there is really not a snake to begin with. So my struggle is this. You add all names and forms in a Chit-ānanda, there is samashti. But the vyashti upādhi, karana sharira, which is also beginningless, because of that, there is a ignorance on the part of Chit-ānanda that I am a Chit-ānanda. I alone appear in all these forms. No. I have ajnanam. It's a karana sharira. Chit-ānanda has a karana sharira, upādhi. So, due to that, identification with one, which is one subtle body, etc., which is the cause of which is this karana sharira. Anyway, and therefore, in a samashti, here all that is a part of samashti. What is here? Everything, senses and everything, subtle body and everything. But due to this karana upādhi, vyashti, samashti, vedakas, you add all names and forms in Chit-ānanda, then that is Ishvara. In that this vyashti occurs. Could you follow? There is no really vyashti. So-called vyashti is due to the karana upādhi, because of which you don't know that you are the basis, the truth of the entire creation. You alone are in all these forms. Well, you identified with a one and said, this is me. When you say this is me, you think that you are the owner of this. And Ishvara is different from you. Yeah, that ahankara makes a difference. The vyashti means ahankara makes a difference. That ahankara is born of the ignorance of oneself. That I am the truth of the entire creation. I alone lend existence to the entire creation. I am the cause of the entire creation. I am Ishvara. With the upādhi, that that samashti-upādhi maya, which is also beginningless, same cit-ānanda now is called sarvagnya, sarva, etc., etc. And with the upādhi, he undergoes modification, which we call saguna ishvara. That's a parinami upadana. I am basically, and Ishvara also is a vivartopadana karanam. I am also vivartopadana karanam of the entire jagat. Therefore, I am Ishvara. As you add upādhi, then upādhi undergoes, that unmanifest names and forms undergoes all modification and again becomes avyaktam, unmanifest. You add into that, identify with that, while Ishvara is called parinami upadana karanam. So therefore, that parinami upadana karanam, and Ishvara, well, with that upādhi can say, I am sarvagnya, all that is there is me, the cit-ānanda, he can say, and he also can say, I am sarvavit. All the names and forms I know in detail also through the upādhi, maya upādhi. So that is how he is sarvagnya sarvavit. I can say I am sarvagnya. All that is there is me alone. I know all the names and forms. The essence of every name and form is me alone. Entire jagat. Therefore, I am sarvagnya. He is sarvagnya sarvavit. That much difference is due to this, that upādhi. Is vyashti upādhi, karana, and the samashti upādhi. Vyashti upādhi being ignorance. I cannot say that I know every name and form in detail also. No, I can't say. But I can say every name and form is me alone. I lend existence to them. They shine on account of me. They are objectified, and thereby their existence is proven by me. That is cit-ānanda, etc. This is just by the way, because this vyashti samashti, the aikyam is generally not resolved easily. In fact, when we talk about it, most of the people resist it. I am cit-ānanda, they are able to accept, but I am Shiva. Please understand, when you say I am not Shiva, you are no more a cit-ānanda. Identification with this. In fact, the body is consciousness. Body is consciousness. Body is not consciousness, and therefore body is consciousness. Wave is water is, wave is not water is. Therefore, wave is water. Body is consciousness. The way, because you objectify the body, and therefore you say body is. If you don't objectify the body either directly, either indirectly, if you are not able to make it an object of knowledge through any means of knowledge, starting from the perception, how will you prove the existence of the body? Please tell me. How will you prove? How will you prove the existence of the body unless you objectify the body? Either directly, we call witness perception, either indirectly, through senses, again direct perception. That's why we call indriya pratyaksha. You see the body, you objectify, then you say body is. Could you follow what I'm saying? So you, and on your part, the objectification of names and forms is natural. You, who is never available for objectification, the subject, the knower, real knower, is basically, for that knower, the consciousness, sakshi, the objectification is very natural. Yeah. Okay. And therefore, even though I know, but tasmin vishaya ukta hetutvat, this vyashti samashti aikyam vishay, Bhashyakara's struggle is this vyashti samashti aikyam. Yeah. If that Veda, that duality continues, there is no question of a non-duality. It's all due to upādhi. Only you say the differences are there. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.